Time Decisions is live on SportsGrid. Great to be with all of you on a Monday night, a major weekend in the sports world as we had the NFL draft finalize more NBA playoff and NHL playoff results and a stunning firing in Major League Baseball because it didn't come from the NL East. Kevin Walsh alongside Gabe Morency. Gabe, how are we feeling?
Yeah, we're still picking up the pieces. As you stated, a wild weekend, especially a late Sunday night last night. Very dramatic hockey game in Montreal, and then a super controversial ending in Orange County, California last night, in which I think we all kind of know the puck crossed the line, but you couldn't really prove it, and they went by just sort of an assumption, which we don't really live in a world of assumptions in pro sports, right? It either crossed the line or didn't cross the line. But we're back at it again tonight. Let's rock. And as you stated, I know a lot of people will probably be playing the Boston Red Sox tonight because of the first game after a manager getting fired, Kevin. But I'll tell you what, the Red Sox players aren't very happy about this firing. So I don't know if there's really going to be some sort of bump in the clubhouse, to be honest, like there often is.
Yeah, Alex Cora, as far as a Red Sox manager you can't just push him aside, right? Like, I understand it was early in the tenure. There was time in between. Well, that is a World Series champion in Boston. And, I don't think moving off of Cora was an easy decision. Again, it's a very jarring move when you compare it to what's going on with the Mets, what's going on with the Phillies, Gabe. And that's why it just feels like a whirlwind right now in Boston. Like, who are the leaders on this team? Who's going to step up? Jaron Duran and trade rumors all the times. Roman Anthony's only 22 years old. Trevor Story might ask out. It's very messy right now in Boston.
And it really shouldn't be, right? This is sort of a turnkey organization, really, with the Boston Red Sox. But John Henry seems to overcomplicate things. There's a lot of people calling for him to sell the team. That's obviously not going to happen. But let's be real. Baseball managers have like the least impact out of any manager in pro sport, right? What is a baseball manager's job, Kevin? To manage the clubhouse, to try to keep people, motivated, etc., and try to keep the atmosphere, the sort of, you set the culture, but you can't hit, you can't pitch. Yeah, you'll make a couple of decisions as far as, all right, let's take this pitcher out now. But even that's basically analytics and done for you, and the pitch count, and everything is basically done for you. So I always find it like comical, sort of like early in the year when they wanted the San Francisco Giants manager on ahead. Well, is it his fault they scored 1 run in the first 3 games against the Yankees? Like, he's not the one swinging the bat, right? He's not the one swinging the bat. But I understand, right? It's the adage. You can't fire 25 guys, right? You can't trade 25 guys. So somebody's got to pay the price for this. But I'm not sure it was the right move in Boston to make, actually, because I don't think anybody thought it was Cora's fault.
Yeah, I think what's difficult for me is, again, not that I was tracking the market, Gabe, but Cora being the first guy to go, looking at some of these other teams,
I said
feels
Thompson
wrong.
Before the year started. I thought the guy in Philly was vulnerable.
But which he must be. And to your point, see, I do kind of agree. Like, we were talking a little bit before the show, just like some of the guys in the back here were like, they're like, oh, the Mets, it's a new team, chemistry. What? There's no plays. Stand in the batter box and swing the bat. I understand you have to do some things. You've got to galvanize the guys. The New York Mets snapping that streak and then getting swept at home by the Colorado Rockies is more damning than the 12-game losing streak. That is so beyond unacceptable from the New York Mets.
Yeah, when the room is lost, that's when, you have to start to make changes. And you look at the New York Mets room right now, and it's pretty despondent. Let's call it out for what it is. But is it a managerial change? Is it the players? There's a lot of strange things going on that are sort of unexplainable in baseball to start this season right now, Kevin. Nobody has an answer for it, right? And it just even, put it this way. I like to say, and we got a game coming up, actually, I want to get to, but I like the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. Cardinals have lost 4 straight and 5 of 6. It's almost like, the baseball gods, and like they've lost a lot of close games, Kevin. It's by like a combined 4 runs type of deal, you know what I mean? They keep losing close games. It's like, the baseball gods owe them. It's like, how much do the baseball gods hate the Mets? like, it's like picking 12 losing bets in a row. It's not easy to do, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's hard to pick 12 winners in a row. Like, doing anything 12 times in a row, like, you figure, even if they're really bad, like, that won't happen. Like, just by somebody else will suck, the law of averages, they'll win a couple of times.
Yeah.
But no, they're not, which shows, you've got real problems.
To Gabe's point, and I know I should expect better, but on Friday, I had 7 picks on the baseball board, right? I was very confident in my NBA. I go, what's the worst that happens? I'll go 2 and 5. And I think I went like 3 and 4, but I was like, that's fine. Like, it is what it is. Like, if I would have went 0 and 7, I would have been like, okay, what's going on? But it's like, I'm not going 0 and 7. I know enough to not go 0 and 7 on a baseball card, right? But like, 0 and 12 is crazy.
It's hard to do.
If you roll me out of bed,
you're in a slump. Yeah.
You're like, listen, I need 12 picks. Figure it out. I'm not going 0 and 12. It's just not going to happen.
Well, they give prizes in a lot of these football contests, actually, for like the worst picker as well.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do either.
It's not.
Like if you said, all right, I'm going to try to fade 5, because you're really picking wins, to be honest.
Yes.
You said, all right, who are 5 things you're going to lose tonight? You're essentially still like picking winners. So it's still hard. But without being stated, and speaking of winners, a lot of baseball stats out there, and people will use different things. For me, I'm sort of an old school guy, Kevin, and I just sort of like to hang my hat on, all right, does the team win when this guy pitches? Right? Like, basically, like it's the old adage. I don't really care about I don't really care about this and that. It's like, does he give us a chance to win? And teams respond to this, right? I'm telling you, players know when they go to the park that day, this guy's good. We got a shot of winning. Like, we're going to win this game tonight. And it just sort of trickles down somehow. And it just leads to, we always win when this guy pitches, and it becomes contagious. And we're talking about our boy Parker Messick, guys. He started 5 times this year for the Guardians. They're 5-0 in his starts. They've won every time that he's pitched. There's just sort of a confidence level with the baseball team when he takes the hill. But with that being stated, the Rays are 4-1. The Rays are 4-1 with their pitcher on the hill here tonight as well. Something's a little bit interesting here. They haven't played yet this year, but Cleveland have owned Tampa over the last couple of years for whatever reason. They've beaten them 7 of the last 9 times that they played. So we've got Messick on the hill here tonight, who's just been straight cash and obviously money for us on a game-by-game basis. And meanwhile, Mats doesn't have the same great numbers as Messick does, but the Rays are 4-1 in his starts. Just want to throw that out there, Kevin. But I like the Guardians in this spot.
Yeah, I give you a lot of credit, though, I'm pretty sure Parker Messick was 1-0. And you're like, this Messick's got something. Like, this is the number 1 Parker Messick show in the sports business, outside of maybe Guardians pregame. Like, we know when Messick starts, and we make sure to bring it up. The guy's been incredible so far this season.
And he was good at the back
end
end last year when he got this little start going, right? So what I'm really impressed with, Kevin, is a lot of pitchers in the big leagues will look good in the call-up in September, and guys haven't seen them. They're facing depleted rosters, whatnot. And then the following year, it's like, we've seen this guy. And then, there's scouting reports for him, right? So when they show up, here's the video of this guy that you're facing tonight. You'll be like, I've seen this guy. He's still getting people out, Kevin. You know what I mean? Like, it's starting to go around a little bit now. He hasn't faced every team 3 times, et cetera, yet. I mean, I think he's on to his 14th or 15th career start, but the kid wins, bro, when he pitches. I'll tell you that.
He certainly does. We will go through the baseball board. There is a baseball money line with an NBA series winner that I decided to put side by side. We'll see if we can sell Gabe
degenerate special.
We've got 3. You'll see, Gabe. We got a couple NBA, couple NHL. We'll make it happen after the break.
They do nothing fancy, the Philadelphia Flyers. There's nothing like, oh my God, like They basically, Kevin, can like hand you their playbook before the game. Like seriously, they can say, "Yeah, this is what we're gonna do. These are our lines, and this is how we're gonna match up against you." Like, you know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
The promising thing for Oklahoma is you've got this legislature that seems to be fairly behind sports betting and legalizing it for the tribes. Stitt is term limited out this year, so you will have a new governor in Oklahoma next year. So this will be a state to watch because there are a lot of tribes in Oklahoma saying, we want this. FanDuel came out as this was coming and said, we want the chance to partner with at least one of the tribes.
Newswire only on SportsGrid.
I don't get it, man. Maybe this is more of a Kalshi poly market conversation to jump in on the prediction markets, but to me, this is the spot that I would roll with the Rays, man. I think they're undervalued every year, and I think they're undervalued this year again. Look, the Yankees should be the favorite. They're the best team on paper. Baltimore, Toronto, and Boston? Donnie, are they that much better than Tampa Bay? What am I missing here?
Pro Baseball Today only on SportsGrid.
The level of involvement with the government and the universities is just absolutely hilarious. You got nothing else going that you got to be this involved here across the board? I do not get it, Donnie. I really don't. But that just goes to show you how much it means here to certain individuals in politics.
The Early Line only on SportsGrid.
All right, game time decisions live on a Monday night, and there are three pretty interesting NBA games tonight because it's the playoffs. Of course, we're battling injuries and, big double-digit numbers, but, so it goes. There is a setup, though, late night between Denver and Minnesota that is just really unique because the Minnesota Timberwolves in game number 4 of this series win, but lose their starting backcourt. Dante DiVincenzo is out for potentially all of next season, quite frankly. And Anthony Edwards with, I would argue, no real timetable because it says a couple of weeks. Minnesota, if they make it through this series, aren't necessarily going to be favored in the next round. And he's been injured already as is. So because of this, Denver, trailing 3-1, are almost favorites to win this series, Gabe. And I got to tell you, I kind of think they're going to win the series. But plus 125 wasn't enough. You know what was enough? 2-1. As long as I add Yamamoto and the Dodgers. Nuggets to win the series. Dodgers money line tonight, plus 200. I played it. I think Denver comes back. I certainly think the Dodgers handle business tonight.
Bold, very bold. And one addition, note of addition for the Dodger game this evening, Kevin, is Japanese Heritage Night at Dodger Stadium tonight. All right, so just a little extra nudge for Yamamoto to get it done this evening. And the Dodgers, arguably, were the best giveaways in baseball, giving away like a Japan Dodgers crossover baseball jersey. Really, really cool stuff that's going on at Dodger Stadium tonight. So just to stay on top of the angles and the bobblehead nights and the heritage nights and stuff like that, it's good to know. In fact, I was the only no-hitter I was ever live at was Fernando Valenzuela at Dodger Stadium. And, of course, he's Mexican and a big Mexican hero. It happened to be Mexican Heritage Night. So right now I almost want to play a no-hitter for Yamamoto suddenly. Just to see history repeats itself. But with that being stated, Kevin, like you said, this is one of the most unique situations we've ever seen before. Right? You got a team that's up 3-1.
Yeah.
They're getting 11.5 points tonight. They're only minus 150 to win the series right now. They've got to win one. They've got to win once of the next, 3 games. Right? They're in a pretty good situation right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves. the question is, can Julius Randle step up, Kevin?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rudy Gobert is balling. Right? Rudy Gobert is
Yep.
balling. Right? They've had guys step up here, and full disclosure. So your play, well, bold, not fully as degenerate as the one I put in earlier in the day, Kevin. But just sort of like to get a feel for my afternoon here. I played Manchester United, Oklahoma City, and the Denver Nuggets on the money line. I had another one.
Yeah, it's
And
all right.
Brentford had like 5 straight draws in EPL action. So I was like, I'm not getting burnt on this. So I'll play Man U straight up in one bet. And I'm going to play Man U on the Asian handicap, 0.0. So if it draws, I'm still safe.
Mm-hmm.
They actually win the game anyways. So now I got the Nuggets at the back end of this on the money line tonight. Are they going to win by 18? I'm not so sure. The way Minnesota are playing right now and the way Jokic is playing, not very well, right? Do you want to lay all these points? I'm not as convinced they come back, Kevin. I think Minnesota can nail this one down when they get back home. I think they lose tonight, but they go back home, and that's the one they got to win. They're losing game 7 if it goes back to Denver.
So
right?
that's
This is the one. Like, if they can steal it tonight, God bless them.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing with kind of house money this evening. But you got to believe after the way the game ended and everything that Jokic is better. Denver finds a way to win tonight. But I'm not so sure they win the next game in Minnesota. I don't know how you feel. I don't really care about the layup at the end of the game. I don't know what Jokic is so upset about, to be honest.
I like it from McDaniels, quite frankly. I like it. Jaden McDaniels
it was a good, like,
punking this Denver team. Well, here's the thing. When if a player goes, look, we're just trying to attack their bad defenders, and, that's what he goes, and someone said, who are the bad defenders? He went, Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Brown, Johnson. No one does that. And Denver let him punk them for 2 straight games. So he should lay it up. And Jokic deciding the time to show fight is when the game is over with 1 second left was a bad look for him. Here's an interesting note on Nikola Jokic, though, Gabe, because there's been a lot of talk about how bad he has been over these last 3 games, and rightfully so. What stood out to me, you'd only have to go back to last year to find a stretch like this. Against the Thunder, games 2, 3, and 4, he averaged 21 a game on 33% from the field. To give you reference, right now, these last 3 games, it's 25 a night on 34% from the field. So Jokic has played kind of like this before. The game 5, you better show up spot last season, 44, 15, and 5 on 68% from the field, 5 made threes against that Thunder team, who obviously go on to win the championship. And here's what you said, and this is why I was willing to play Denver. And yes, I wanted it a little bit higher because it is short. But Gabe, we're looking at a team who's minus 500 tonight, going to be minus 500 if there's a game 7. What's the game 6 number going to be? If we get to a game 6, Gabe, minus 5.5?
Yeah,
Denver?
4, 3.5, 4.5 type thing.
It's not going to be
maybe 5. Yeah.
The money line. What's the money line probably going to be on Denver? I would say minus 200 at least.
In the same
same
vein, put it this way, I think in the same vein, maybe a little higher as Detroit and Orlando tonight. Right? And so sort of in a similar situation, although Orlando are actually a healthier team. But this is really an opportunity for Rudy Gobert, who has been so heavily criticized, right, over the years, by his peers, right, by NBA media, by his peers. This would be a really big FU moment for Rudy Gobert if they won this series with all the injuries that they have. Because, listen, we could talk about Jokic, and Jokic is struggling. Part of the reason Jokic is struggling, I think, is because Rudy Gobert is playing such great defense on him as well, Kevin. Let's call it out for what it is.
Rudy Gobert, to Gabe's point, has been criticized forever. In these 3 games, he became a first-ballot Hall of Famer because people now respect Rudy Gobert.
Now he's got offensive swag now, even, if you know.
Yeah, he shot a 3.
He
shot a 3 the other day. I almost passed out. We'll be right back.
They do nothing fancy, the Philadelphia Flyers. There's nothing like, oh my God, like they basically, Kevin, can like hand you their playbook before the game. Like seriously, they can say, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. These are our lines, and this is how we're gonna match up against you. Like you know it, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you know it. There's nothing you can do about it.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
The promising thing for Oklahoma is you've got this legislature that seems to be fairly behind sports betting and legalizing it for the tribes. Stitt is term limited out this year, so you will have a new governor in Oklahoma next year. So this will be a state to watch because there are a lot of tribes in Oklahoma saying, we want this. FanDuel came out as this was coming and said, we want the chance to partner with at least one of the tribes.
Newswire only on SportsGrid.
I don't get it, man. Maybe this is more of a Kalshi poly market conversation to jump in on the prediction markets, but to me, this is the spot that I would roll with the Rays, man. I think they're undervalued every year, and I think they're undervalued this year again. Look, the Yankees should be the favorite. They're the best team on paper. Baltimore, Toronto, and Boston? Donnie, are they that much better than Tampa Bay? What am I missing here?
Pro Baseball Today only on SportsGrid.
The level of involvement with the government and the universities is just absolutely hilarious. You got nothing else going that you got to be this involved here across the board? I do not get it, Donnie. I really don't. But that just goes to show you how much it means here to certain individuals in politics.
The Early Line only on SportsGrid.
All right, game time decisions. We are back here on this Monday night. We talked about the series for Denver and Minnesota. I think my favorite player prop tonight, though, actually comes from this game on the Minnesota side, Gabe. I think Bones Highland has very light numbers here. Bones Highland has played 13 games this season where Anthony Edwards was out and he played at least 20 minutes. He averages over 16 points per game in those situations. Bones Highland is playing 20 minutes in this game tonight. Absolutely so. I think Bones Highland goes over the 10.5. I don't mind his points, rebound, and assist prop either in this basketball game at 16.5 here. Off the bench, I think we see a good amount of Bones Highland for Minnesota.
I played a Nas Reed rebounding prop. Nas Reed rebounding prop. Listen, he averages like 6.5 rebounds generally as it is.
That's a great look.
Yeah, don't you think so? There's going to be more minutes tonight. He has no choice to be more aggressive on the offensive glass as well. Right now, he's got to be a bigger part of this thing tonight. I think he's more than capable of it. Dude, we were just talking about Rudy Gobert, Kevin. They're hanging at 9.5 offensively, offensive points here. 9.5 on the board here tonight. My fear is, though, they're on the road here this evening. Like Desamnu, it's 20.5 tonight. Right? Like, they're making us pay a premium for the fact that everybody's out for Minnesota. Randall, you could argue, is sort of not insane at 21.5, but does he have it in him on the road, Kevin? That's my big thing. I trust these guys. I think that they could step up back at home in the next game, but this just has Denver blowout written all over it. And for the record, and I got a lot of player props I like to throw at you in some of these games tonight, actually. This is a fascinating one, obviously, with Minnesota. But the total of this basketball game, Kevin, they've only topped this number once in the series to begin with when they were healthier. Like, and if you're Minnesota, honestly, if you're Chris Finch, who's a good coach, how are you, like, even drawing up a game plan to win this game, Kevin? I'll tell you what, it ain't a track meet. You know what I mean?
No.
It's not a track meet. He's going to be like, listen, we're going to have to maximize our possessions, finish our possessions, and play hard D tonight, guys. Like, how are you selling this in the Minnesota room before the game? Defense, defense, defense.
Yep.
We've been terrorizing them. Terrorize them on D. Let's stay in the game. Low-scoring game. Let's just be within striking distance in the fourth quarter. That's going to be Minnesota's game plan, Kevin. It ain't going to be, let's get into a track meet with them tonight.
I think I would not play this total anyway other than probably the under right now because it's very hard to justify what you need from either side, if that makes like Denver's team total is 118.5. They haven't hit that yet, right?
You got to get to 225 points. A lot of points in a playoff game.
Yeah, and Minnesota, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Minnesota's turn to not score 100. For me, that wouldn't shock me one bit. So I don't mind that. I just want to say, and look, we kind of this happens here sometimes where
what's the final score? Well, you said what 118.5, right? It's funny
it's the Denver team total. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would even gonna say, yeah, my would it surprise me if this game was 118 to 101 or something like that? No. Right? But that's like 5-6 points under the number.
Well, yeah, 116.99. I don't think that's that surprising. Really, I really don't think it is. I don't. And
Minnesota will tap out too, guys. This is another thing too. Well, you got to be careful if you like thinking, man, it's a lot of points. Because trust me, I was thinking it's a lot of points. But think about it, Kevin. Yeah. They cannot afford any more injuries, right?
No.
So if Finch is down 16 or something, and like Finn to Ford, he could go, you know what? We're putting everything into the next game. I want everyone to sleep for the next 22 hours.
That's why I got Bones Highland game.
Yeah,
because he's coming off the bench.
Everything in the next game.
Yeah, absolutely. No, guys, there's real value if you can like kind of see the blowout coming. I played, and I know you'll get a kick out of this game. I had Bronny props in last night. Bronny James, 1.5. Scored 5. Because it was a terrible, terrible spot for the Lakers. Like, if Denver holds up to this spread, guys like Bones Highland and Naz Reid get through numbers here. So I would be careful with Dosunmu. I'd be very careful with Gobert. Would you be surprised, Gabe, if Nikola Jokic pump fakes, and does everything he can to foul out Gobert? Because if he fouls out Gobert, he's scoring 45. He is going to go open season as long as he can get Gobert out of these games. So that I would be very cautious with a couple of these starters in a game like this. I'll tell you, though, it works the other way sometimes, Gabe. Like, if there's not a blowout in Phoenix, Oklahoma City, there's good value on some of these stars. Devin Booker, SGA, I actually believe.
One good thing about Dylan Brooks, he doesn't quit, Kevin.
He does not.
Right? You know what I mean? He doesn't look at the scoreboard, this dude. Like, he really will give you the same effort. They're down by 19. You see he's diving for loose balls. He's taking threes. He's like, fist pumping after the three, even though, like, hey, we're down by 22. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm going to play hard for every minute I'm on the court. I'm going to play hard. So he won't roll over. One thing that should be noted, Oklahoma City have been really good, Kevin, finishing this series off, huh? The last 3 years that they've been in this spot, they've swept. They don't do the, you know what, let's don't worry about it, we can win at home thing. They're pretty good at, no, let's finish this off and get rest. I just don't want to get in front of Oklahoma City. I don't have a problem with some of the player props on Phoenix because I don't think they'll roll over. Mm-hmm. But at the same point in time, Oklahoma City won't take the pedal off the metal, Kevin. I think they'll want to finish this series.
I think they want to finish a game. But they don't win these games by 25, 30 points. You mentioned last year, game number 4 in Memphis. They win it by 2. Year before that, round 1 against New Orleans, right? Only an 8-point victory. Again, they win these games by a respectable margin, but not as much as I think the books require them to. There's 11.5 out there. I think
Phoenix first half is a look here, Kevin. Phoenix first half. They come out hot and hang in the first.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
Can't alienate your fan base. That's the problem. You got to show your fan base that you're still trying to win, and you want to sell tickets in the summertime. You don't want to go into mid-May and say, all right, we're 15 games out, but it's still only early May. No, fans will stay away. So you don't have the luxury anymore of just waiting. So someone's got to get fired. Nope. One of these teams is going to fire someone by the end of the month.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I thought the Jets would have pulled the Ty Simpson move. I was desperately worried that was what they were going to do. But instead, they ended up getting it right with Bailey. And so did, by the way, the prediction markets, because we saw all that money come in for Bailey. It's kind of funny because all it is, and then you forget. Who did Arizona go with? I mean, Arizona went with a running.
right, we're right back with you guys here on a Monday night. We've talked
The PBS.
We're back. No issues here. Nothing going wrong. Everything's smooth as can be. The dog that I like is I do like Phoenix plus 11.5. Gabe, you're interested in running it back with Orlando?
Yeah, this is the one out of the games this evening. It feels like a Denver spot tonight. I could see Phoenix dying on their sword and it being right around the number, Kevin, as you talk about, 8, 9. It is pretty pricey. Like, you got to win by, clean double digits here once again this evening with Oklahoma City. I think they have shown an ability, and they know, especially as champions, it's best to shorten these series as much as possible, get rest, limit injuries, play as least amount of games as possible. But with that being stated, the Orlando Magic and the Detroit Pistons, this is not a good matchup going on right now for the Detroit Pistons, Kevin. Right? You and I talked about this before the series started. Orlando could be a frustrating team at times, but they were rarely healthy and had everybody on the floor at once, and everything is really starting to click right now. Desmond Bane is just one of the tougher guys in the NBA, right? He just brings a different level of toughness and grit to this Orlando team that they didn't have before. Like, this guy doesn't back down from anybody. He's played in big games before. He's playing his heart out. He's playing well. Banchero is very consistent in what he does. Suggs has been balling, man, just doing everything, rebounding, assists, scoring points. Suggs is like suddenly looking like, yeah, now I know why this guy went 3rd overall or 5th overall, whatever, in the draft. 5th overall in the draft. And then you got Wagner back in the lineup, who makes a big difference, right? And then what are you getting from Detroit right now? Duran's just struggling out here.
The Duran stuff's bad.
Let's look at his props tonight. Is he suddenly going to come alive on the road tonight? I'm not so sure.
Yeah. I wanted to play his double-double. I thought it was way too expensive. This is a guy who's not had a double-double now going back into the regular season, all right, since the very first game that they played in April. And you guys know I tried to play some Jalen Duran in game number 2. He didn't get there. And I thought to myself, am I going to regret not playing him in game 3? Not at all. Here's the deal, all right? The rebounds are down to 8.3. That's bad. 9 points on 42% for a guy who's just supposed to be dunking the basketball? The Jalen Duran play, this is a guy who made an all-star game, might make all-NBA when those honors come out. This is an unacceptable performance from Jalen Duran, and I'm not entirely sure when he answers the bell here. I've talked about it. I have some, Pistons, conference futures, but I think it's telling that I didn't bet them in game 3 or 4. I'm not betting them tonight. I didn't bet them in game 3. I think they win. I don't think there's a ton of value on Detroit, though. I don't love them.
I don't think you can justify making Detroit a 3.5-point favorite in this basketball game. And I know there's some threes starting to pop up at spots right now as well. It's been that way all day, 3.5/3. But, I mean, if anything, okay, this game is a pick'em. But you're going by your power rankings. You're not going by what we've watched.
Yeah.
Right? What we're watching. Teams can change, Kevin, right? Teams can change everybody, right? A team, I saw this team play in February. Doesn't matter. Like, no, now. Like, it matters how teams are playing in the playoffs. And Orlando will be a good home playoff team, actually. They've won 5 of their last 6 home playoff games. They're a confident team right now, but I don't think overconfident. I think they really want to nail this down because I think they know, all right, going back to Detroit's going to be tough. Okay, it's a toss-up game, but you're getting 3.5 points with a home team that's been a better team and arguably is the deeper team right now as far as production from the players that are on the court right now, guys. I mean, if you look at this series, if you look at Detroit, all right, Tobias Harris been okay. He's just sort of been there, but Cade Cunningham's bringing it on a game-by-game basis. Duran's brought him nothing here, Kevin, compared to the consistency of the guys on Orlando. Right, Banchero's been solid. Bane's been solid. Wendell Carter has been solid. Wagner's been solid. Jalen Suggs has been rock solid. Just consistent. 16, 19, 16. Wagner, 17, 12, 19. It's not this roller coaster. Like Orlando, everybody's contributing right now. And to me, the math adds up. I got more guys scoring on Orlando than I do Detroit right now.
And we talked about this last week. Orlando's preseason expectations were higher than Detroit's. Orlando spent more than half of the season without Franz Wagner, another quarter of the season without Suggs or Anthony Black available. They are healthier. They are, and there wasn't a lot of time where this team was healthy.
Talk about Kevin. So Banchero, top pick of the draft. Jalen Suggs was the 5th pick, right? Because the Raptors took Barnes 4th before him. So but he was the 5th pick of the draft. Wagner's a big time player. Like they have they have real players on this team, guys. They've got like top 10. Like this team is loaded with lottery picks, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Now look, it's an Orlando team who. Well, again, I think Detroit has to. I wonder, though, if Detroit has to punch them in the mouth in order to win these games. Like, you'll notice, Gabe, right? The one win they have was pretty big, right? By 15 points. Like, I just wonder if they have to really bury this team because the close games, it's not really working in their favor.
There really hasn't been. That's the closest game. We've had an 8-point game in this series. The other two are double digits. Yeah. So we haven't had that sort of like buzzer beater. All right,
it was
Orlando
tight at the end
pull away. Yeah, but
of
Orlando
Game 3.
Generally pull away when it gets
they did.
real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they even talked about it. They said, we're confident. They said, hey, every time, whatever, they said, Detroit can go on a run. We don't panic. Mm-hmm. They're a confident bunch right now, Orlando. Like I said, they're a live dog to me tonight. I don't trust the Pistons winning by 4 on the road tonight.
I want to bring up the NHL playoffs as well. Pittsburgh did force that Game 5 back at home here against the Flyers. And this is one of the fun things about playoffs and just how much kind of panic can set in. I say this clearly as someone, if you're overly invested, it's not fun at all. But now, right, it's, well, if Pittsburgh wins tonight and they win Game 6 and then they go back home, right? Like, it's the same thing that's happening with the Lakers and the Rockets. Things can change in a hurry. Right?
Yeah, things can change in a hurry.
It's like, well, if Houston wins Game 5, they're winning Game 6, and now it's Game 7. It's like, well, what if they just win Game 5, right? Like, Pittsburgh is a home favorite here, Gabe. And then late night, you've got the Golden Knights trying to level that series up against the Mammoth. What stands out with the 2 hockey games?
You know what? I thought coming into the Flyers and the Penguins series that we were looking at a 7-game series, and maybe we're going to have a different path to get there, but ultimately I think that's what's going to happen. Or 6 at least, but I think that Pittsburgh have a home win in them right now. And, Crosby's talking about how they're starting to figure a couple of things out, and it's taken them a couple of games, but they're starting to, play the way that they want to play. And Philadelphia are selling the, hey, listen, if you told us we were up 3-1 before this series, we would have taken it.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously massive game tonight. But like you said, Kevin, those stakes rise, like, don't they? You start to look ahead as a fan. Right. Like that's like it's inevitable. We all do it. Oh man, we lose this game and we lose that next one. And we're gonna right. Next thing you know, it's in 7. Yeah. And it is Sidney Crosby we're talking about. And one thing, I think they waited too long to make the goaltending change. Skinner was the goalie, Kevin, for the Oilers in the past years, right? They got rid of him because he didn't win big games. And they traded. It was like trading junk for Jerry and Skinner, right? Like Pittsburgh and they both get benched and stuff all the time. They waited too long. Seeloff's a good goalie. And it's interesting because Rick Talker was the coach of the Vancouver Canucks and Arthur Seeloff was the goalie of the Canucks in the playoffs as like a rookie for him. So he knows his tendencies, but he came in and got the win for them. He's a streaky goalie. He can steal games as well. I'll die on the hill here tonight that, all right, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if the Flyers won at home in the next game, but I think the Penguins have a home win in them tonight, Kevin. And Vegas and Utah, Vegas just don't look great, right? They fired their coach at the end of the year. They won a bunch of games at the end, but they were playing like bottom-tier teams. They're just not in sync right now. And this Utah team, their youth and speed's causing Vegas a lot of problems, Kevin. I don't trust Vegas tonight.
I was a little tempted in this under Penguins Flyers at 5.5, but it does feel like every game is just like 6-6. It's right there. We're gonna bring Craig Mission next year. What happened with the Red Sox? We'll find out next. All right, back with the guys here on SportsGrid. Craig Mish joins the show, host of Newswire, as well as Pro Baseball Today, covering really all things Major League Baseball for us. And Craig, I got to tell you, sometimes you get alerts, and you're like, oh, all right, thought that might happen. Alex Cora being fired before any of the NL East managers was not something that I thought was going to happen. What was your reaction, and what were you hearing others in Major League Baseball say about Boston moving on from Cora, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, the easy thing is immediately just to, run with what everybody else is saying and just immediately assume that it's a bad decision and that Alex Cora will get a job immediately. And some of that may be truthful, but in the end, Kevin, when an organization and Sam Kennedy and John Henry, when they commit to a new chief baseball operator or president of baseball operations, whatever they're calling Craig Breslow, they're committed to him. And they're committed to a long-term vision with what he's doing. I don't know if it'll work or not, but that becomes the first commitment to the team. And then when you compound it by firing all of the coaches too, it definitely means that they were all aligned exactly with what Alex Cora wanted to achieve. So I don't think that there's any necessarily right or wrong in this. It's just Craig Breslow's show. That's the way the organization has chose to go about it. Will Cora manage again? Yes, I'm sure he will, but it's not that easy to just simply get a job in baseball, as evidenced by other managers who leave. Sometimes they do sit out a year or two because teams want to look into exactly what happened for you to get relieved of your job. It's just not that simple. So, yes, obviously very surprising, but a layered story and not as simple as it would appear.
Often, Craig, there's a bump with the team after a manager or coach gets fired. I don't know if it happens. As you stated, this is a long-term move. I get it. But with that being stated, I think the current clubhouse actually liked him and didn't blame him in any way. And oftentimes as well, general managers will pick a spot with the schedule to fire somebody to give them a soft landing, right? To sort of rack up the wins and, they make themselves look better and it sort of changes everything quickly. This isn't a soft landing tonight against Dylan Cease here tonight. How do you see this game? Cease has been straight fire. His strikeout prop is 7.5, though, guys.
Yeah.
Tonight. Suarez on the hill for the Sox, but you know what I'm saying, Craig? Like, it's not like, oh, yeah, we're giving you a soft landing here. It's like, oh, yeah, we fired the manager, and by the way, we're playing a Jays team that just took 2 or 3 from the Guardians and has a red-hot pitcher on the hill tonight.
Yeah, so my view on the whole thing is maybe different than some others, and this is not coming with any information, just comes with having some history covering baseball for a long time. My opinion, Gabe, of this whole situation is by firing Alex Cora, it gives Craig Breslow and it gives the organization the opportunity, if things don't bounce back quickly, to do a complete reset, which is very rare in a situation like Boston and in a market like Boston.
It would not be popular in Boston.
But I think there's a chance that's where this is headed. I think that is something that Craig Breslow will try and sell and say, hey, look, the offseason didn't go the way that I wanted to. Let me give this another shot. Let's play toward next season. Gabe, I think you're kind of doing that already when you're bringing in a manager from AAA that arguably the reason why they're bringing him in is because of the relationship with all of the young players on the team. So I don't know that that necessarily answers your question directly. Obviously, Toronto, should be favored tonight, and Dylan Cease has been as good as anybody in the American League. But it just wouldn't surprise me, guys, in a month or two from now, Memorial Day, to look back at this and see Boston 7 games under and talk about them trading guys at the deadline. I just think that's the way it could go.
But just so I have a sense of it, Craig, do you think that that could mean Boston's willingness to sell is a little bit more aggressive than others? Like, how many untouchables would you anticipate being on this Boston roster? Is it Roman Anthony, Crochet, and then everybody else could go? Could one of those two guys, is that on the board?
It's hard to say because that would have to go above Breslow. They would have to determine how much is set. But Kevin, this is the same team that traded Mookie Betts. So you're going to tell me that I don't think there would be any untouchable. And again, I'm not intimating that what the Red Sox said is true. I don't think that they were lying in a press conference. I do think that they're going to try and put their best foot forward, but I also think in the back of their mind, they may look at this team and say, we are really flawed here, and we may not be able to dig out of this. And the way that we do this is by resetting things completely. And it would be, kind of unheard of in this market to do it. But I got to tell you, I don't know that they will be able to dig this far out and catch the Yankees. And at some point, I know the Blue Jays are going to get hot. And when they get all their guys back and everyone gets healthy, the Blue Jays are going to be much better than what they've shown. They just haven't been healthy.
The other thing I wanted to ask, though, Craig, is just because you have a better memory for this, Gabe would too. Firing managers in April, how common? Because we don't feel super far away from, like, there being another one right behind this. Like, where is this week 5 in an NFL season? Week 4? Like, is it not a little early for some of this?
It's uncommon, but it's a trend in sports that continues to happen, where coaches are being fired more than ever because the salaries are just so much money. You can't fire the players. It reminds me of, what was it, Denver's coach, Mike Malone, like right before the playoffs gets fired. There's no really rhyme or reason anymore. NFL guys get 1 year and done, and I think it's now catching up to Major League Baseball too. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Guys who wouldn't have got fired until July or August are getting let go right now. And again, I can't say this enough, as much as I do. And by the way, I know Alex Cora. I like Alex Cora very much as a player, played for the University of Miami. Thought he did a great job with the Red Sox, and I do think he'll get another job. But it's very clear that Craig Breslow did not have a great relationship with Alex Cora. I mean, isn't that obvious? To do this now, instead of having that guy around for the rebuild, they obviously want to go in a different direction.
Whenever you do this early, though, guys, it's really more of a vindication of the ball club than the manager, I think. Right? I mean, you're basically admitting, all right, our team sucks. like you said, Craig, you believe, we're probably at a spot where they're going to be in sell mode more than, this thing's going to turn around because of this, right? I think, as you stated, he wasn't going to be there. They figured now's the time. But you're right, Craig. I mean, we live in an impatient society right now.
It's
players,
changing.
Managers, no one gets the same amount of time anymore. For the record, Mendoza right now is the new favorite to be fired next at plus 200. Espada is plus 300. Marmol is plus 350. Rob Thompson is 9-1 right now.
Yeah, those first two, I think, would be the most likely of them all. I still believe the Phillies will get going. I don't know when or how, but maybe I'm foolish for believing it.
I mean, who knows? They're 9-19, the two of them down there. We'll see. Craig, we appreciate it. As always, we'll do best bets on the other side. All right, Game Time Decisions. We're back here on Sports Grid. And you know what? I just told Gabe I was going to ask him something. I thought maybe we didn't have enough time. We'll do it quick. You know, I just want to bring it up because it could be a good opportunity. Gabe, the Raiders draft Mendoza 1-1. Obviously, the idea is, hey, franchise quarterback. But they've been pretty adamant that they're going to play Kirk Cousins all of the season if they can. But it's not normal. What would I saw some book post over under 7.5 starts for Mendoza. What are your, as we sit here, end of April expectations for the Raiders quarterback room?
I would bet the over. I think they want him to earn the job, right? They don't want to give it to him. But I'll tell you what, Kevin, it's not like Mendoza's coming in as some quarterback that, he hasn't played much and he needs some time. Like, he's as ready as he's going to be, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to change? It's almost like Bo Nix or something. Like, nothing was going to change. Like, the guy's played 1 million games already. He is who he is. Now it's time for him to face better competition and get used to the live bullets. But I'm not a believer in Kirk Cousins, number one, staying healthy. And I think that I think Mendoza will end up playing. I think Raider Nation will demand it along the way. We were just talking about the lack of patience, right? And we can talk about, Brady was behind Bledsoe and Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre and stuff like that. Well, Little House on the Prairie used to be popular on TV too. So what? Right? Doesn't mean anything now.
Here's my thing, Gabe, because they're sometimes it's like, don't worry about what they say. I cannot imagine Kirk Cousins after the Penix thing would put himself in a situation where a team goes, yeah, we're going to start you, and then he doesn't start. So I really believe Kirk Cousins is going to be given this job.
He's just not very good, Kevin. I think that's the biggest part of this debate.
Him losing the job is totally fair. But, Gabe, I don't know if they have this on one of your books. They have Mendoza's season-long passing prop, 2,700.5. The math on that is Mendoza would need to play 12 games.
No, I would go under.
Gabe, I think it might
Kevin,
be.
It'd be a bunch of dink and dunk stuff. It's not like he's going to come in and start 380 yards a game.
But so Gabe, if he plays 12
and they have
games,
Ashton Genty and their new coach is Kubiak. They're going to run the ball, no matter who the damn quarterback is.
He would need to average 225 yards a game with 12 starts. I don't think he starts 12 games. I don't think he's averaging 225 yards a start either, because he's a rookie quarterback with live. But I don't know how to process minus 114. How long do I need to lock that up necessarily? Because it's not just like the season starts and they pay it out. They won't pay it out until January 15th or something. You know what I mean? But I can't really see a world Mendoza's throwing for 3,000 yards next season. I don't think he's going to have enough reps.
No, and I agree with that. I think I personally would play him, so I'm looking at it from that perspective. But even if he played, it's not like they have a ton of weapons for him to work with. They drafted Ashton Genty last year. They have a coach that just won the Super Bowl by running the ball and playing safe and throwing for 145 yards a game and winning in the modern NFL. I don't think anything's going to be different right now with the Raiders. I think he's going to use the same blueprint with the Raiders as he did with the Seahawks.
Just for the record, he would need about 157 yards a game if he played all 17. So that's where it gets a little tricky, but just wanted to get your thoughts on the Mendoza-Cousins situation. It's going to be one to follow, I think. Gabe, let's run through your card here on a Monday night. Couple of, playoff options for us.
Yeah, you know what? Let's start off in the National Hockey League with the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers. Been a really fun series. Obviously, a lot of animosity between these two teams historically. I just get the feeling we're going to have more hockey being played, and the Penguins aren't going to lose every game on home ice. So Penguins win tonight, minus 130. Knights and Utah. Vegas are going to have to throw the kitchen sink at them early. They keep on falling behind, and it's a problem for them. They've got, and this is basically a must-win for them. They've got to come out hot early, and then conversely, could lead to the counterattack, and Utah are going to be super fired up at home. So long story short, I expect goals early in this game. Over 1.5 in the first period. It's minus 120. Orlando have been the better basketball team. Orlando are on their home court. Orlando have more players that are playing well right now than the Detroit Pistons are. I don't care about the seed. Give me the Orlando Magic plus the 3.5. I don't see how the T-Wolves and Nuggets get to 224.5 points, guys, even up to 224.5 now. I don't know what I'm missing here. Even if it's a blowout, Minnesota will top out because they're already depleted, and they'll just move on to the next game and put everything into that game. So let's go under in the T-Wolves and Nuggets, and I'm going to fade the Red Sox for screwing Cora over. Give me the Boston Red Sox to lose tonight.
All right, let's run through it here. Behind the scenes, Angels money line for Chris. Porter Martone, anytime goal scorer for Sam. And then Twins money line for AJ. I am on the Suns, Devin Booker's PRA, Bones Highland, and do not forget, Nuggets to win the series, and the Dodgers money line. See you tomorrow.